Welcome back to another episode of I Am Who I Am, the series that talks about us as human beings and our identity. Once again, I'm not alone. I'm joined by the lovely Nandi. Welcome again.
Thank you.
And how are you today? You're looking lovely in purple.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
You too, in black and white.
Thank you. We are ready and excited to have yet another conversation. And today's one's going to be a little bit different, but also still linking back to last week's episode about remembering ourselves and reminding ourselves who we are and seeking ourselves within. So Nandi, today I want to talk about how, sometimes as people, we tend to complain a lot about things. And a lot of the times we limit ourselves and we've got these limitations that block us from getting to maybe the next level of the person that we're trying to be or, the next step of our lives. How would you say that is something that we purposefully do to ourselves, similar to what the Israelites did to themselves on their way to Canaan?
Thank you. Once again,
yes,
you are. I am who I am. Everything revolves around that. If you know that you are, you will not be asking me this question.
Okay.
So it simply means that the position or the level that you are sitting in still talks to the conditions, like the Israelites. If you recall, the Israelites were moved out of Egypt. Mm-hmm. And when they moved out of Egypt by Moses, he did all the miracles. He got them out, and there was a Red Sea. At the Red Sea, he was able to do yet another miracle. They went, and they still complained. Mm-hmm. Some of them even said it was better where they came from, where they were. That is why the conditions keeps you where you are, or even takes you further apart from being who you supposed to be or who you are. So in this case, Israelites, they took 40 years to arrive to where they were supposed to have arrived in 2 days.
Oh, why would they drag 2 days into 40 days? Is this 40? All?
Yes, it is all because of the conditions.
Yeah.
Once you are limited, hence we say, as a man thinketh, so he is. So the way that you think is the way that you are going to produce. In other words, your production will be exactly what you have put in. But because you do not know that at the time that you are thinking, you are not thinking about what you are thinking about.
Yes.
You just think. And then when it happens, you don't know that it is me who did it.
Yeah.
You've got somebody else to complain about.
Yes.
You have got somebody else to blame for it. It is never you. So with that, it takes you for forever. Actually, you go around in circles. You go around in circles because you are trying to fix. And the thing that you are trying to fix, you are trying to fix it on the outside. Because it cannot be you. It is that particular thing, or it is that particular person, or that particular situation. It is never you.
Yeah.
So you are forever chasing.
Yes.
And the chasing creates the suffering in the process. That is where then anxiety comes in, anger comes in, hatred comes in, because of that. It's not because of the situation or the person, the other. It is because of you.
Yeah.
So if you can look within and understand that I am who I am and I am creating, I am the creator of this that I see out there. It cannot be there if it wasn't me creating it. So with the Israelites, it was exactly the same concept. They went, but they were still in their conditions. It didn't matter whether they were in Egypt, whether they were out of Egypt. They were still exactly in the same conditions that they were because they are God within, but because they do not know, nothing is going to happen. Yes. So the verse that says seek still remains.
I was going to ask that. That was my next question. Like for someone who knows that they are not in tune with themselves and don't know where the first step is to reminding themselves to go back to the source, what would it be? But again, you just answered that it would be to seek.
Yes.
That's the first step in kind of knowing yourself again, is to seek yourself. Otherwise, you'll never know.
Again, the Bible there says, renew your mind.
Yes.
Repent.
Yes.
That's exactly what you have to do. And when you do that, it is the going back. It is the returning. It is the reminder that, you know what, I am not this. And that can only happen if you take the decision to say, no, I have to return. Nobody else can assist.
Yeah.
Your pastor can pray all they want. Your mother can tell you all she wants. But if you do not do it yourself, you will forever be in the conditions that you are in that limits that you have put yourself into, and you will enjoy that yourself, not anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, they walked in numbers, as I would like to assume. I don't know the story too well, but I would assume that the Israelites were all a group of people. How would you say, but the power of collaboration or of being a team still helped them walk those 40 days together? Just the importance of doing things as a team. And I know they say there's power in numbers. So how would you say that it was important for them to still stick together and support each other?
It was a very good thing. It is a very good thing. However, if you are in this team and you're going north when you're supposed to go south, then all the team is lost. Everyone is lost. So it is a very good thing to do teamwork. It is the only thing there is. However, even in that team, you are still alone. Yeah. You are forever on your own, regardless of the situations where you find you can be 100 people, but you are alone. You are still alone. There are people that cannot stand themselves, actually, that when they are bored when they are alone. And that is the only time to enjoy. Yes. You enjoy yourself when you are alone. But people want to be in this company so that they can do this, so that they can have this, so that they can do the other. If you cannot do it alone, it means you are in the wrong company. And that's the wrong company within yourself. So you've got to really enjoy yourself and be there. And that is when you know that I am who I am. And with the Israelites, when they left Egypt, and along the way, regardless of the miracles that they happened, they still complained in the process. They still complained. And what they did, they were looking for God out there. They started building their own God, something that they will worship, something that they will see, or somebody that they will see. It was a something because they built those altars, they built those idols. And if you recall, one of the commandments says, do not worship idols. But today, things are happening. The same as in the Israelites era, we are going back to their thing. We are worshiping things that we want to see and forget that everything that is what is within. So with that, the suffering continues and it will never end because the search will never end. We're searching in wrong places. And to give you a short story that will explain what I am saying. I am reminded by a story that was told by Swami Savapriyananda. He said there was a story in the ancient days in India where there was a queen and a king, and they had a son in the palace. And a drama was staged. With that, there was no girl to play the part, which required a girl. But they had this beautiful son. And he was 5 years at the time. So they decided, the queen said, dress him up in a dress, he will be good. He will look great.
Was the play to the whole, to like people in the kingdom or the family?
Yes, it was the family. So it was a play where some people were invited to come and play. So that guy little boy
Yes.
at the time was given that role, and he took that role and he played it very beautifully. And he looked stunning in that beautiful dress that he was put on. So when the play was finished, the queen said, "Oh, he looked so nice. Rather we make a portrait of him and we put the date and everything on it and we will keep it."
Okay.
So that he can be reminded of himself when he grows up. And indeed, that portrait was made, and he was looking at the portrait. They were looking at the portrait, and they were very happy. He was also very happy at the time.
Okay.
5 years.
And he knew he's playing a girl.
He knew he's playing a girl at the time. Then 20 years passed. He is now an elderly man.
Yes.
He's growing up. And he's walking around doing his duties as the prince in the palace. And then one day he walks in downstairs into the palace, one of the storerooms. He finds this picture, this portrait. He looked at this portrait and he looked at it. He cleaned it up. It was dusty.
Okay.
He cleaned it up and he looked at it and he said, "Oh, this girl.
Oh, shame. He can't remember now.
Girl is beautiful.
Wow.
I want to marry this one. I'm not going to marry anybody. They must find me this girl. I will marry only this girl."
Shame.
Then he looked at the date. It had the date. Oh, she's even 5 years younger than me.
Oh.
Because we are almost the same age, because now he's 20 years.
Yes.
Then he goes, and because at the time they wrote the date of the picture, he was already 5 at the time.
Yes.
So it means that at 20, the girl was 15.
Yes. So he thinks she's
So
5 years younger.
yes. So it's the beautiful age that he's looking for.
Yes.
So he started to worry. He started to look around, but he couldn't figure out how can he tell his parents. How can they find this girl? And he's looking around. Who can he get to assist him find this girl? Wow. So with that in mind, that desire created animosity between himself and finding this girl. He didn't know how to do it, so he got pissed off somehow.
Yeah.
But then he neglected his duties as the prince. He was always crying and always not listening to anybody, and he didn't want anything to do with anything.
Sure. For someone he does not know at
For
all.
something that he doesn't know.
All.
So it happened that the father was very worried, and the queen. And then there was a wise minister in the kingdom. Then the minister went to the boy because he also picked it up. So he went to the boy and said, "Boy, tell me, what is wrong with you?"
He had never told them why he's depressed?
No.
Okay.
No, he didn't want to talk to anybody about it. He was still looking around for himself, thinking that he will come through to this girl somehow.
Yeah.
Then he explained to this minister, "No, minister, I'm in love." And this minister said, "With whom? This is the right age. We're going to have a royal wedding."
Yes.
Okay? So he said, "I don't know the girl. I've seen her on a picture." And then, "A picture?" Then she said, "Yes." He said, "Yes." Then he said, "Okay, show me the picture." This prince took him to the storage downstairs. And this minister, luckily, he has been here for a very long time. So he remembered that incident very well. And the pictures, everything that was done during that time. Then when they got into the storeroom, the prince took out the picture and said, "Here's the portrait. Here's the picture."
And it's him.
The minister said, "Boy, let me find you a chair. You must sit down for this one."
It's a big one.
It's a big one. Then he sat him down. Then he told him the story.
Sure.
What happened 15 years ago and what this picture is. And he told him that this picture, it is not a girl, it is you.
Wow. How
This guy looked at him and had nothing to say.
Yeah. Shame he's disappointed or I wonder what one would feel if you think you love someone, but it's actually yourself.
It's actually yourself.
Yeah.
And that is who we are today.
Yes.
We are searching for who we are in all the wrong places.
Yes.
In all the portraits, every picture that you find, it's this one, you believe. It's this one, you believe. God is there in heaven. Where in heaven, you point up. Yeah? How do you get there? You must die first, post-mortem.
Yes.
So everything is something that you do not know. But what you do, you believe without experiencing it.
Yeah.
So it is very important that searching will never come to an end as long as you don't know who you are. As long as you are seeking, you will seek for the rest of your life. It will never come to an end. And the suffering will go on and on and on.
Yeah.
So when this king realized all this, it just said, there is nothing that we can do. And the prince decided that everything, the desire of getting married to this picture,
It's
dissolved.
gone. Yeah.
It was gone.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
that is our story that illustrates and tells us about who we are and how we have neglected who we are and searching for all these things. It is creating chaos for ourselves.
Yeah.
It is creating suffering for ourselves. Only if we knew who we are.
Yes. And I think what stood out for me in the story is how, because he didn't speak out, or maybe he got so depressed in his own doing, rather, because he's actually looking at himself, but he's also the reason for his own anxiety and his own frustration of not being able to find this girl. And I think it just takes me back to realizing how, as human beings, we tend to be the reason for our own distress as well, because we're looking in the wrong places.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think, it's a very, very good story.
It is very true. It is very true. And what happens, the most important thing that we take out of the story as well is that this boy didn't need prayer. Didn't need to go to church, didn't need to be blessed, didn't need anything, meditation. He only needed to know that this is me. And once he knew it was him, everything dissolved. He didn't have to fight with anybody. Imagine if they had said to him, maybe this girl was in another state or in another province where they would be saying, you cannot marry. This one we are fighting, this one is this, the cultures won't meet and then they won't be the same. We have to marry somebody like this one. They had created a picture for this boy of a person that he should marry. It would have created chaos. But now it was him. So he didn't have to go anywhere. He didn't have to do anything except to know that this is me. And all was it.
Yeah.
It was who he was.
Sure.
He didn't need to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So that is the story. And the separation that was between him and the portrait was dissolved.
Yeah.
There was no separation. So with you and God, there is never separation. You are one. As God is omnipresent, you are always God, all the time, everywhere, in everything. So God is one. Look at me and see God. I look at you, I see God. And that is what we are.
Yeah.
And that is who we are.
Would you say that this story also is about, being firm in accepting who you are? Like, this is it. And even if sometimes the world will show you a portrait of something that doesn't look like you, or maybe sometimes it's a portrait of someone who looks like you, but you, because you know yourself and you know your identity, you are able to discern that and say that this is not who I am and versus this is who I am. I think that's what I'm trying to get at, the point of knowing when to not believe when people say you are this way, and you know that I'm actually standing firm in my identity. Yeah.
Yes. The whole point It's so true what you are saying, because whatever that you think about is exactly what is going to happen to you. And if you get somebody that is going to tell you something contradicting to what you say you are, then it is not going to work. But if you have seeked the kingdom of God and you know that I am here, and even if people say something, let's say somebody says something to you, to live your day-to-day activity, life in the embodiment of Christ, of God, and live the godly life that you are, it does not mean that you have to do something. It does not mean that you have to go anyway. It does not mean people are not going to say anything to you. It does not mean situations are not going to happen.
Yes.
But it is how well you behave in any situation that will determine your success.
Yes.
If somebody says to you or assault you, or they say words to you, words are like sword. They cut.
Yes.
Okay? What did Jesus Christ do? Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they're doing. He embodied that. If somebody hurts you, you say, I love you today. Tomorrow, I break that appointment because I do not conform to your appointment. Then it means you don't love me anymore. And it creates so much hatred between the two of us. And that was not.
Yeah.
That was not. Even if it has to come to an end, it has to be this thing that is between the two of you, and it is something that is amicable. You don't have to hate, you don't have to fight, you don't have to do anything. It is what it is. And when it happens, it is when you realize that I am living my life. I am God, and I am embodying that. I am not just saying it, but I embody the Christ-like life.
Yes.
And that is how it's supposed to be.
Yes. Thank you.
And things are going to happen.
Yeah.
People are going to be there. But the only control you have in anything that happens and everything that happens is how you behave, how you react to that particular situation that tells you, not that other person. It does not matter to the other person, because he or she is also in his own within. He is thinking the way that he is thinking. Hence we said nobody kills anybody. It is what is within you that you're removing, and unfortunately you remove it from the wrong places.
Yes.
It is still the seeking in wrong places.
Yes. And will we ever seek in the right places? Is that the seeking is always continual?
The seeking stops at some point. If let's say you are driving your car and you get to your destination, do you still drive your car within that destination?
No.
No, you stop your car and you get into wherever you're going. And when you need your car, you go into your car and you go back. And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
You live your life exactly the same way that you live your life. There is nothing changes. The only thing that happens to you is that you know who you are and you enjoy everything the way that it is. You do not wish things were different.
Yeah.
And you do not say why things happened to me and God is fired because this happened. This did not happen. Where was God when this happens? So all those kind of questions, when you ask yourself those questions, it means you are on a different level.
Yes.
You are on this dimension that is still within that particular condition. You are limited. Once you understand and you go back, everything will be sorted. Everything in heaven, I heard that they sing throughout. Everything happens in heaven. and basically that's what happens when you have dissolved all the conditions that are limiting you. You will have those miracles. You will call miracles because everything is yours.
So would you say heaven is on earth?
You are heaven.
Oh, wow. That's
You
beautiful.
don't have to go anywhere. You are
We are
everything.
heaven.
You are joy. You are peace.
Yes.
You are love. You are everything. You do not need to go anywhere. And God within you is just the witness of everything that happens within you. And when you are in that level, that dimension, all is yours. It is added Seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all things are
Will
yours.
be added unto you.
So you don't have to go anywhere.
Wow.
You complete the way that you are.
Yes, and we don't need to seek validation from anyone. And that's that. It's already written.
It's
for
already
you.
it's already yours. It's
Yes.
already you. It's not even yours. It's you.
you. Wow.
So you embody that
Yeah.
and make sure that you just live your life. And there is this thing of purpose for life. There is this thing of goals in life. They are very good, but they are in that in those conditions. They are in those conditions because in source where you are the creator, you create new things. Here, when you are in conditions, you have to maintain that. The conditions requires maintenance, because if I have to be something that I am not, it means I have to maintain that thing.
Yeah.
And then maintaining that, it costs a
Effort. A lot
It
of
takes
effort.
an effort on your side. It takes everything. But if you sit in knowing that this is who I am, you will do whatever that is needed.
Yes.
And that's all that you in fact, every day you always do what is needed. There is nothing extra that you do, but you always think that I am so busy. I am so this. I am so this.
Yeah.
No, you only do what is needed. And if you are not doing what is needed, you are in your conditions.
Yes.
You
Which
are
is-
limited.
Yeah, and I think it's so interesting that you say that, because as human beings, we put so much pressure on ourselves to always do more, and more every day. Or maybe with our futures, we feel like we are behind schedule or we're not on time. But for you to say that we're already doing what we need to do and we already have everything within us, I think we've already been equipped, or we equip ourselves rather with what we need to do.
Yes, hence
Yeah.
we're saying you are complete. So
Yes.
all the equipments that you need, the
Yes.
joy, the love and peace, it's already you.
Yes.
And if you look at it as well, we are all sitting here, we're looking for happiness. I must be happy. This that we are doing now, I must be happy. I must be happy that this has happened. I must be... We are seeking for this happiness.
Yeah.
And when we are seeking for this happiness, we are in our conditions. We seek from our conditions, and then we try to correct. So when you correct, you're looking for tools that you're going to use. I'll give you an example. If you are in this condition, let's say confidence,
Yes.
then you say, I lack confidence. Then you are in a condition, because in your true being, you are confident.
Yes.
Confident is built
Yeah.
within you. You are confident. But you have decided to say, yo, I lack confidence.
So who's that though?
Who's that?
Who's
that
that
is
person
saying,
that's saying I'm not confident?
Yes, I'm not
'Cause we
confident.
don't
It's
know
like
that.
there are two people.
Yes.
Yes. So you've created this.
Okay.
You've moved out of being confident and you created this.
Yes.
And then you are looking at yourself and say, I am not confident.
Right.
And then with that in mind, you then try and go to school. You then try and do whatever that is necessary for you to maintain this status, to correct this
Yeah.
wrong. Because obviously, if you lack confidence, something is wrong with
Yeah.
you. Then you are trying to correct it. But you already are. All you have to do is to remember that, you know what? I am confident. And go back and remember just that I am confident. Once you remember that you are confident, even the things that you need to do, they will come to you. It's not necessarily that I'm saying you mustn't do anything.
Yes.
No, it doesn't mean that. You will do what is needed
Yeah.
for you to be confident.
Do you think it will always be a battle of the mind, like a yin and yang? Will it always be you're trying to fight against this other voice that's telling you you're not good enough, you're
Yes.
an overthinker?
Yes.
And, we're always trying to get rid of them. But some people succumb to that voice at
Yes.
some stage.
It is true, because the minute you say, I have to have peace, it means you've moved out of peace. You are here.
How did
So
you
there are two. How did you move?
Yes.
You went out of peace. As I am talking about peace, people now, we've gone through a very long process of having to give Nobel Peace Prize So this person was too much peaceful. So they get a reward for being peaceful. Peace is who you are.
Yes.
You don't need to be taught about peace.
Yes.
It's the same as love. There is all these things, adverts. There is a love, there is happiness. That class is there. You have to be taught to laugh.
Yes.
You have to be taught how to be happy. And all these things, they have been created.
Man-made.
They are just making tools to correct this, because once you are here, you will realize that something is not right. Once you are here. Yeah, I lack confidence. I need self-esteem. You realize it when you're here. But when you're here, you are. There's nothing to change here. It is you. So that is where the challenge is in terms of understanding who you are.
Yeah.
Once you know that I am who I am, you don't need to be here.
Yes.
You will always be here. And you know that I am peace, I am love. This does not exist. But once you try correct this to come here, you will continue with the maintenance part of things, and you will live there. You're not going to go anytime.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes.
Soon.
Wow.
So with that, I would say there is no seeking. The seeking must come to an end at some point.
Yes.
Because it means by the time this body gets tired and it gets out of me, then it means I will still be seeking.
Yeah. So you shouldn't be seeking in the first place.
There's nothing to
When
seek
you
for.
found your
There's
true
nothing to
self.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll be driving your car inside this house.
Yes.
Which is very abnormal, and you are doing exactly that. You are driving your car inside this house. You've reached your destination, but you're still driving because you cannot stop your car outside because you don't know that it has to be stopped. So at least reach your destination.
Yeah, which is within yourself.
Which is within yourself. Go back and be reminded about who you are.
Amazing. I think that brings us to the end of our second episode. And I think it was such a special story to hear that this prince who was so fixated about a portrait and wanted to marry this lovely lady actually ended up being in love with himself. And I think that's the biggest message that we can all take away from today's episode, is just learning to journey back to home and to love yourself again. And that if you don't leave home, you'll never have to search for it, because you'll always be your own sense of home. Thank you so much, Nandi. Yet again, episode 3 is coming soon as well. Very excited for what we're going to chat about then. Anything else you'd like to say before we say goodbye?
Just to say, I am who I am.
Yes.
And you are who you are. Thank you.
And that's it from us, and we are who we are. And I hope you are who you are. See you on episode 3. Goodbye.